What's up, everybody? Zach Waters, aka Pretty Sister here. Today I'm going to open up this session for Jordin Sparks' Deja-Vu, a song I produced and wrote with the great P. Wright at the Red Bull Studios. They sponsored a camp for Jordin Sparks, and we wrote a couple songs with her over the course of a week and had an amazing time. She's an amazing person, such a cool person to work with, an amazing singer, very inspiring, and all of the Red Bull writers that I got to work with are awesome, and the Red Bull team is great. So overall, 10 out of 10 experience. Anyway, let's get to it. Deja-Vu by Jordin Sparks, produced by your boy. So with Deja-Vu in particular, I was really trying to go for something that reminded me of the Brockhampton song, Sugar, I think it's called. And so the guitar, the drums, I really liked that the kick was kind of overdriven. So let me show you that. Also, so right here, as you'll see right here, this is the electric guitar. Let me solo it. And that's pretty much the loop. That's the loop. That's the whole song. That's the chords. I think, actually, I played it on this guitar, Fender Telecaster. That actually is my roommate's, but I use it all the time. But yeah, it's just. Yeah. And to be honest, this is one of the quickest tracks I've ever made. And I think there's something to be said in making something quickly and not putting too much crazy time into detail, because I think this whole track probably took me two hours or maybe an hour and a half, because I was just kind of like, I was trying to get a bunch of ideas done in one day, and I wasn't getting too precious about everything. I think the guitar part was probably the first thing I put down. And then you have just a snap. That's it. A little snippy snap. And then, you know, there's some of these little vibe things, which are really, really important little trinkets, I think, that make a production professional, I guess. I don't know. It gives it some mystery, I think. So I have this reverse chop, which is probably just I reversed something else. And then another, and then a reverse guitar. So this is the first, I took the first chord, I took one of the chords from the guitar, and I reversed it. Simple stuff. It's actually one of my simplest productions, and it just goes to show you, a lesson for me to learn, like, yo, less is more, dog. Let's see, what else is in this track? Not a whole lot. So there's an organ along with this guitar that I played. Super simple. I use Keyscape a lot. This old Rhodes sound in Keyscape that I really, really like. Kind of sounds like an organ, which is why I love it. I love organ. So there's that little fella. Here's another thing I don't usually do, but there's two kicks in this song, and I'll show you. This is them together. So I wanted it to sound, I really liked how the drums on that Brockhampton Sugar sound. And I don't know, in my mind, it sounded like it was two kicks, and maybe one of them was overdriven, or they were kind of clipping or peaking. So I put two clicks, which I don't usually do. So this is one by itself. And then there's this other one. That's kind of the crunchier one. But that's them together. And then this rim shot is amazing. Ooh. So that's basically the whole thing. And then there's this thing I labeled Perky. I renamed a bunch of the stuff, obviously, before it went to mix. So that is a splice loop that I re-chopped, as you could see here in the verse. it's heavily edited to be a little bit different. Let's see. Really, really a special loop though. It adds a lot. But yeah, I wanted it a little bit less busy in the verses, obviously, so that it kind of shined a little bit more in the chorus. And then, of course, there's like a surf lead that I played for in the second verse just to give it a little something extra. So we have, you know. Still rocking. Obviously, we have a snap in there still. We have some of our chops that I pitched to be in there, and then our reverses to kind of, you know. And then, let's see. Then we get into second chorus. Obviously, cut the drums. This 808 actually, I was using 808 Warfare, which I use a lot as a contact instrument. But when I took all my stuff to the Red Bull studio in Santa Monica, I'd forgotten like one dongle or like a hard drive or something that like hosted all my contact samples. So that was like the one thing that like didn't populate when I opened the session. So I just grabbed a singular 808 and then pitched it. As you can see, it's like 808 -5 +4 +2. So this is obviously in a different key. And then I basically just, they sound really sketchy by themselves, but they work fine enough. And then there's a compressor on it, and the compressor is side chained to the kick. So if you don't know what side chaining is, I'm not going to explain it in depth, but basically what side chaining does is it activates the compressor every time the kick is hitting. So whatever you set it to, so I set it to the kick drum, so that when the kick drum hits, it ducks the 808 out of the way just so ever so slightly. I used it pretty liberally here, actually. Am I lying? Maybe not. Maybe I used it conservatively. I used it. Let's see. Oh yeah. So it's grabbing and slamming it down to about 10 to 20 dBs every time the kick hits. It's slamming, it's compressing the bass out of the way a little bit so they don't kill each other, essentially. And then these vocal chops that were already vocal chops, and I chopped them up more and reversed them and stuff. Same thing, I didn't want it to be, I want it to kind of pedal. And then get out of the way a little bit. And I believe, I see that's a reverse one. So these are I think actually, this is a vocal chop from my friend's Lyre. They have a sample pack and they had some good vocal stuff in there. What else is in here? What's this? I obviously cut something up. Some kind of arpeggio. Obviously this was a splice thing that I cut up, put into time so that it did that little roll, which is fun. And then crashes. That is an ARP. That's from my bass station. That is from my Novation bass station. I make a lot of ARPs on that thing. It's one of my 3 analog synths, and I use it a lot. I use it for a lot of bass, like not 808 bass, but like sub bass or like crunchy. I use it on the Pretty Sister project a lot. Yeah, these ARPs. I think that's from the bass station. And on that, I just have a delay, Space Designer, which I just use all the time. It's the Logic's, one of Logic's reverbs. And then Pan Man. Because I remember now. I wanted it to sound like it was kind of coming left to right. And then this chorus is the only thing doing this chorus is this mellotron, which is an old dirty pop trick, just to have the pedal note or like the root of the key. So what key are we in? Let's see. B. I guess we're in B major, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, I just kind of hold that pedal note. Sometimes it's a string, sometimes it's like an electronic sine wave thingy, but okay, you can stop now. Quit. Yeah, but I really like the mellotron violins because mellotron is essentially, it was like string and flute samples recorded on tape. So the mellotron just sounds nostalgic because it has this kind of like warble to it. So I love how the mellotron sounds, and I like to use it a lot. It's kind of one of my little tricks in my toolbox that I think is awesome. And the new Logic came with a mellotron sound, which I was like so stoked about. Whew, sounds old and nostalgic and sad and spooky. Literally, that's it. That is the whole track. Such a good song. I mean, it's a good song. I could say that. P. Wright killed the top line, and I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I would love to take credit for some of the top line. The first day of the Jordin Sparks camp, this is one of the tracks I played, and everybody really liked it. And then we started working on something else, which was First Kiss Playlist. I think the second day they had me working on something else, and so I went to P. Wright and I was like, "Yo, do you want to work on that cool like guitar track that I made and played for y'all yesterday?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he just holed up in a different room, and I came back like a couple hours later and checked on him. He played. He was like, "Yo, what do you think of this, man?" And I was just like, "That's amazing." And then he played it for Jordin, and everybody was like, "Yo, this is it." Now I'll open up. So obviously the vocals are in a different session, which is very, very pro of me. A lot of times I'll just like go ham and I'll be up to like 50 tracks and be like, whatever, I don't feel like bouncing it right now. Let's just like put vocals in right now. And then by the end of the session, I'm getting all kinds of, hang-ups because I have a million plugins going and fucking 120 tracks happening. The point is, get into the habit of putting your tracks and your vocals into separate sessions. So here we are in the vocal session for Jordin Sparks' Deja-Vu. Jordin is obviously an amazing singer, so working with her is great because it makes my job a lot easier. Let's see what we got.
Loving you helps keep my sanity, floating on air, defying gravity. This ain't basic, another reason why I chase it. Started off with a convo, blasting off like a spaceship. You and I do or die.
So there's a ton of backgrounds on this song. I think that's part of what makes it such a vibe. I spend a lot of time cutting breaths out and stuff like that, as you can see. I think they're distracting, and if they're out of time, they really bother me, and I just think it kind of takes you out. I have certain like a dedicated track that has Altar Boy on it, obviously with the formant pitched down to make it sound like, this little mutant. And then one of them has a delay on it. So I wanted to be able to control what is getting thrown after. So as you'll hear,
helps keep my sanity.
I wanted just the to delay out instead of, and I don't like to automate delay and reverb. I think it's really imprecise and it just bothers me. So I'd rather literally print the main vocal with the verb and delay on it and then unmute it essentially where I want it to be. They have kind of a high cut on them, just cutting a lot of the high end so that they're not, it's more of a vibe. Let's see.
Floating on air, defying gravity.
These are some high octaves, I believe. Yeah, so really low in the mix, obviously, but really important to the vibe.
Helps keep my sanity, floating on air, defying gravity. This ain't basic, another reason.
So, just layers, Sometimes, I don't do that all the time, especially like in a first verse, but particularly for this song, it just felt like the right move. And then this is a great spot right
That's
here.
enough like a spaceship. You and I do or die, 'cause you're my favorite when I'm alone. I can't sleep because I need you by my side.
We have, what is this? You and I. So hidden in this track, there's a ton of P. Wright vocals from his original demo of when I gave him the track, and he just kind of went off on his own, and just like, he is an amazing vocal producer, amazing singer, and I'm so glad that we kept a lot of his vocals, and I think him and Jordin's together sound amazing. So
You and I do or die, 'cause you're my favorite. When I'm alone, I can't sleep.
and then Jordin just kind of like backed that, all that stuff.
You and I do or die.
And on those, I got an R compressor, an API, a de-esser, and then a glue compressor, which I really, really love. It sounds really good on drums too, by the way. And for whatever reason, whatever mic we used particularly wasn't what I was used to working with. Like I use this SM7 on everything, and we use some like crazy mic at the Red Bull studios. I ended up having to do a lot more EQ work. There was a lot of like harsh overtones for some reason. And it's not her voice. It was something about the mic, but there was some considerable EQ happening. And then what else we got?
You, no lie. Now I feel like we are floating in
We got P in here
space.
too. Lots of stuff happening.
I done seen enough. Kinda like every good moment growing up. Hits me like deja vu. Deja.
Crazy vocal stuff happening. I really like this M-Juck. It's like made by a company called Klanghelm, and I really like it.
Deja.
Some of my producer friends in Norway actually are the ones who show me it, and it's nice because it's like gentle. I can't really explain it, but it really smooths stuff out. It's not a very transparent compressor. Like if you put an R compressor on something, like it's hard to even tell what's happening, which is a good thing. But with this makes like a really like, let's see, I'll play it without it actually. See how that is.
Deja vu.
And this is with it.
Deja vu. Deja.
It's a really nice compressor. I really like it. 10 out of 10 would suggest. Obviously, also, you could see here, I have, different buses. So with similar processing, obviously the lows got a different processing for some reason. As far as like the main vocal goes, so I have a space designer, and then we have a little bit of delay. And then a lot of times I have like a verb delay, which is, it's like a big verb, but what it is it's a delay, and then I put a verb after the delay, and so I put that on like an aux send, right? So you could just send it a little bit. The affects I use on vocals a lot, and it adds some like nice crispy sibilance to the vocal. Let's see, microshifter. I use a microshifter on backgrounds. I didn't send any main vocals to the microshifter, but like I just have it on holy shift. Basically everything got the normal verb, the short verb, and the big verb delay. And to show you what that does,
Loving you helps keep my sanity.
without it,
Floating on air, defying gravity. This ain't basic, another reason
Go with
why I
it.
chase it. Started off with a convo, blasting off like a spaceship.
yeah, so that is a brief look at what I use as far as vocals go. Every session's different, but there's some go-tos for me. Klanghelm M-Juck compressor, I really, really love. The R compressor, obviously, the R channel strip, the API EQ, the glue, and the FabFilter Pro EQ are all really nice. The FabFilter EQ, the quality that I love about it is you can audition frequencies that you're either trying to boost or take out. So you could do your frequency sweep like this, like.
Loving
So I'm just soloing that red frequency, and I'm moving it around until I hear something really offensive, and then I go, no, you're gone, son. You're dead to me. There was some funny business happening in the mid range on this track particularly. So, and then this is I boost. Why did I boost this? This is really weird, actually.
you helps keep my
I was trying to give it some body. I guess. But that's why I really like the Fab filter, because you could just keep using that to pinpoint. I love that you could hit the little speaker thing and it'll play it until it hurts your ears, and then you go, oh, that's the frequency that needs to get taken out. So yeah, that is Jordin Sparks' Deja-Vu. I hope you learned something. I hope I didn't bore you with my dork shit. So that's all. See you guys next time.